What's up, you filthy casuals? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back with another deck profile for y'all. So today we're going to be taking a look at a casual deck. So whenever we're looking at these kind of, I call them the filthy casuals, these are the type of decks that I don't recommend taking to like a big tournament, any type of tournament of significance or anything. These are literally meant for locals, just messing around. These are purely fun decks. These are decks that, generally if you were to ask me, I would tell you never to run these decks. But again, these are purely casual decks. So today we're taking a look at Broly, and not new Broly stuff. No, we're too good for any of the new Broly stuff. We're going to take a look at all of the old Broly stuff, particularly what I still think is probably one of the worst printed leaders in the game, Black Broly, or the movie promo Broly. So let's jump on over to DBS Decks and take a look at this list. Alright, so first up we've got our Broly leader. He's Broly in the front and Broly Legends Dawning on the back. He's got an auto whenever this card attacks a leader card, you may choose one card in your life and place it in your drop area, which is really bad. And then you can place the top 3 cards of your deck in your drop area, and then your opponent chooses one card from their hand and places in the drop area. So you're basically losing 3 from the top and a life to burn them 1 card. And then whenever your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. And on the back side, whenever this card attacks, draw a card. And then you may choose one of your non-token, non-black battle cards, place it in your drop area. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. So it's a discard effect. And then activate main once per turn. Choose 1 card in your hand, place it in your drop area, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and KO it. So it's got discard and destruction on the backside. Still not great, but it's not horrible. Alright, moving on to the deck list. First up, we got 4 Newfound Power Son Gohan. This is another one of our Self-Awakening cards. So everyone kind of knows what this is, but it's an auto. Whenever this card attacks, you can choose 1 card from your life, add it to your hand, and then he gets plus 10,000 in crit. So it's a good, crit pressure, and it helps us awaken. We've got 4 of those. Next up, we've got Cheelai the Beautiful. This is the FR from Clash of Fates. So she's a 2 cost, 1 green, auto once per turn. Whenever one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent places 1 card in their drop area, 1 card from their hand and places in the drop area. So again, you can already see where the synergy's going. We're using our leader to kind of blow stuff up, and then Cheelai makes them discard cards. Our leader makes them discard cards. And how Cheelai works is once per turn. So if you can kill something on your turn or their turn, then you can use this effect, so it's pretty nice. Alright, next up we've got 4 Overflowing Bio-Warrior Army. So this is a card way back from set 1. So auto, whenever this card is placed in the drop area from the battle area, if your leader card is a Broly, you may place 1 card from your hand in the drop area. If you do, play this card. So you'll see we've got some synergy with this card a little bit later that we'll show you, but this kind of card just keeps going. So he's a 15k beater, he's always going to be able to apply pressure on the leader, apply pressure on battle cards, and he's going to be really hard to deal with. He's not going to be able to go away. Alright, next up we've got Endless Evolution Broly. We got 4 of these. So he's a 3-drop, 2 green, permanent. When evolving a card on top of this Broly, the energy cost of that Broly costs 2 green less. So if that Broly were to cost like 3 green and 1 other, now it only costs 1 green and 1 other to evolve. So it's a really cool effect. And he's got an auto. Whenever you play this card, your opponent chooses 1 card of the battle cards and KOs it. So again, synergy with the Cheelai. Alright, next up we've got Deathless Warrior Broly. So this is again a 4 of. This came from the Ultimate box. We're kind of spread out all over the Broly set, but so we can evolve over a Broly for 3 green or 1 green if you're playing it over evolving it over the Endless Evolution Broly that we just saw. He's got the permit. When evolving this card over a Broly, he's got the same type of effect. It costs 2 green less. Alright, then whenever you play this card, if your leader card is a Broly, your opponent may choose 1 of their battle cards and KO it. If they don't KO a battle card this way, they instead choose a card from, or 2 cards from their hand and place in the drop area. So how this works with the ruling is if they have nobody on board, they have to discard 2 cards. But even if they do have something on board, then Cheelai's in play, they're still discarding cards. If they only have barrier cards in play, they can't choose one of those barrier cards, so then they have to discard 2 cards from their hand. So really good discard effects, kill effects, all that kind of good stuff. Alright, next up we have 3 Surprise Attack Frieza. This is the BCC promo. He's critical, he's a 4-drop, he costs 1 green. He's got an auto, activate this skill when one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd. If Surprise Attack Frieza is not in play in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand. So he's just a free 15k body. We have a lot of blow-up effects, so he's pretty easy to get out of play, and then you have just a 15k crit to pressure. Alright, next up we have 4 Rampaging Lifeform Bio-Broly. He's a 5-drop 2 green. He evolves for 2 green and 1 other. Or if we're evolving off of one of the evolved Brolys, he only costs 1 colorless, which is why we're running this as opposed to the bigger Broly. But he's got double strike, 20k, auto whenever this card evolves, and whenever you evolve into this card, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in the drop area. Again, so just more discard effects. Like I said, there's another option that you can run here with the big Broly. He's the 30k SR from set 1. I went over with this one just because he's cheaper to evolve. He only costs 1 to evolve. That other one is Double Strike 2, he's just 10k stronger. I don't think that the damage differential was such a big factor for 1 more energy. So for just 1 energy, you can just evolve right on top of it and make them discard. Alright, next up we've got Broly the Supreme Berserker. So this is an SR from the new Destroyer King set, set 6. So he evolves for 2 green and 2 other. So he would just evolve for 2. With one of the evolution Brolys. He's got critical, barrier, auto, once per turn, burst 5. Whenever this card attacks, if your leader card is a Broly card, choose one. If your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand, switch this card to active mode. Or if your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, they reveal their hand, you choose one of the cards, and you place it in the drop area. So he's got 2 really good effects. So he's either untapping, so he's basically a dual attack if they have 3 or less cards in their hand, or you take a card out of their hand. And the awesome thing is you get to see it, so you get the information, so you get to look and just take whatever you want. It could be a negate, because it just says 1 card. He's a 30k, so he's pretty efficient to get him out. Alright, next up we've got Broly, Ultimate Agent of Destruction. So this is one of the SCRs in Destroyer Kings. This is an ultimate, we can only run one of it. He's an 8 cost, 4 green, double strike, dual attack. He's got the ultimate skill, so you can only have 1 ultimate card in your entire deck. Auto, when one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or more is removed from a battle area by a skill or is KO'd, activate this skill. You may choose all the other cards in your hand other than this card, discard them, and then you can play this card. And then auto, whenever this card attacks, if your life is at 1, your opponent chooses all their cards in their hand and places them in the drop area. This is a really strong effect. So basically how we get out to the big Broly, the SCR, is we use our leader's backside effect to kill the 7 drop, and then we just bring this guy into play for free. We have to dump our hand, but then whenever he swings, they have to dump their hand if they're at 1. And his discard effect from their hand isn't a once per turn, so if you swing, he's double strike, they take 2 cards, cool. You swing again, they had to dump their hand again. So they still can negate it first, but they still are having to empty their hand. So really strong effect. It's kind of one of our closeouts for the game. Alright, next up for our super combo, we got 4 Master Roshi, Strict Instructor. This super combo from Destroyer Kings. It's whenever you combo with this card, if your leader card is black and your life is at 4 or less, draw 1 card. It's a 0, 10k. Alright, we've got 3 Relentless Destruction Mira. So he is just an Overwhelm 3. Whenever you play this card, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. So again, just more discard effects. We've got 3 Dimension Control Demigra. This was the special pack Demigra from set 5? No, set 4. Excuse me. So he's Overwhelmed for 4 for 1 energy. Whenever this card attacks during the turn which you played it with Overwhelm, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to the warp. If that card was a battle card, then you get to combo with it in your combo area. So again, we're just getting cards out of their hand. That's really all the decks really want to do. And then finally, for our battle cards, we've got 2 Trunks Power Overseeing Time. So he's an Overwhelm 4 for 2 energy. He's got Double Strike, he's 20k. And then auto, whenever you play this card using Overwhelm, choose 1 battle card in your warp and then add it to your hand. So this is a really good utility type card. We're able to, most importantly, get our SCR if we happen to mill it or something like that. Or just gets discarded or something like that. Or we can get super combos, we can get Broglie pieces, whatever we kind of need. And he's just a Double Strike 20k, so you can finish games that way. Alright, next up we have, for our extra cards, we got Frieza's Army Healing Pod. So this is a field card. It's got an auto once per turn. Whenever you play a green battle card from your drop area, draw 1 card. So the synergy with this card is with the overflowing Bio-Warrior Army. Whenever this card's KO'd or put in the drop area, you can discard a card and bring him back into play. So effectively, you're able to put him in the drop and bring him back for free. You're discarding a card, then you're drawing a card off the Frieza's Army Healing Pod. So you always just have a continual Bio-Warrior that's able to come in and swing. Really cool effects that you can do. On your turn, you can swing. Then you can use the Broly effect to pop him, and then you can bring him back into play. He's untapped, swing again. So you got really cool effects going that way. And then finally we have 4 Power Bursts. This is just our negate. If later is black, Sparking 5, we can take a life instead of paying its energy cost. And then also you can choose 1 black battle card with an energy cost of 1 or less and put it back in your hand. We don't have anything to really interact with that in the deck right now. I mean, obviously in the side you have a ton of options. You got Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, you got Time Control Konoha, you got Kami, you got Dende, several different options you can kind of include in the sideboard. I didn't feel like they were necessarily needed in the actual deck, but definitely options there if you're kind of looking for that. So like I said, really what this deck is a hate hand control. You're just, every card almost has some type of discard effect. We're just trying to keep our opponent's hand size low. We're killing cards, we're removing cards from their hand. We've got the infinite Bio Army loop, which will get really annoying very quickly. If they, eventually, if they keep swinging into it, they'll kill it. You pitch a card, bring it back, draw a card. So you're cycling through your deck really well. You got your Brolies that kill things and then make them discard cards because of Cheelai. And another really fun fact is Cheelai does stack. So if you have 2 Cheelais in play and you kill something, they're discarding 2 cards from their hand. If you have 3 Cheelais in play and you kill something, that's 3 cards, and it just kind of adds up like that. Fortunately, Cheelai doesn't have barrier. That would make her really, really strong. But again, like I said, this isn't the type of deck that I would definitely recommend taking. I would at all recommend taking to like a big regional, celebrations, Sword Championship, something like that. But maybe you have a local Tuesdays or something like that. You're the best of one. You just want to go up there and have some fun. This is one of those decks I'd kind of recommend for that. It's a really fun deck. I'm not at all going to say it's competitive, but it's definitely fun. But anyway, guys, that is it. If you have any suggestions for some more filthy casual decks, please be sure to leave those in the comments and let me know. And other than that, we will see y'all next time.